You reach the second floor, and
Well, I will knock first. You know, I don't want to burst in and just startle him as he's operating on our good friend.
As he knocks on the door, I say, you're quite polite for a dwarf.
We don't have to always bang really hard on the door, especially not when someone's stitching up a friend.
I thought of just walking in, but that is a good point.
Matos, is that you?
No, it's Arpad and Witcher Vin. We need to talk.
Oh, not now. I'm performing operation, you know.
Is the door locked?
If Matos has to come with the bucket, I assume it's not locked.
Alright then.
you open the door and you enter the room. What you see is Nicolas sitting on a stool, naked from the waist up, and Christos in front of him.
Before he gets a chance to speak, Arpad and I walk in. I close the door behind me and I say, don't let us interrupt, but continue the operation and just listen.
I raise my hand. Good sirs.
Don't move, don't move.
I'm sorry, Christos. I lower my hand and I sit back down, but I'm still staring at the intruders. And I go, we're not animals, good sirs. And neither are you. Do you want Christos to make some kind of mistake? Because you're, I don't know, perplexing him with your questions and interrogation?
Yes, but please be still, friend. Even as you talk, your chest is moving and interrupts me trying to stitch you up. If you must be here, Arpad and the Witcher, please sit at the bench and either be quiet or make yourself useful.
I take my cloak off and I fold it nicely and put it on the bed. And I start walking around and I say, just keep doing what you're doing. And I point at the knight and I say, you, just stay still. And you, and I point at the doctor and I say, keep operating. But at the same time, I do need you to listen because this is almost on the same matter of urgency and maybe even more.
As he does all that, I just glance at the cloak.
You disappoint me, Tree. I was hoping you'd just that's it.
And just drive it and run. Abandon the party, go on a one-man quest.
And we never saw him again.
Get away from the witch.
And then an ex-companion turns arch enemy.
I keep walking around and Doctor, I need you to be honest with me here. I need you to keep telling me whatever you do know about this so-called curse you claim to have.
Not whisper, just in a low voice as to not move any muscle. My friend, do you want me to kick them out? This is preposterous.
I speak loudly, not to scare him, but I just want to show my annoyance. You sit where you are sitting now and you don't move. Curses or not, it's quite preposterous indeed to interrupt a medical operation. If it can't wait, I will tell you what I know.
All I need to know is about this curse you were so open about to a person you have just met. Most times, people are not as open about curses they possess.
So this is the moment where you make your final knot and you cut off the stitching wire. And Nicolas can relax, knowing that you have treated him to the best of your abilities.
Can I move now?
Yes, you can move. I was indeed open. I was open about what I perceive as error in my mindset. It's a sting of doubt in my confidentiality. Is it really a supernatural affliction? Or is it just my imagination telling me things that also don't exist to disrupt my self-respect, my belief in my abilities?
As this is happening, I walk over to him and I say, friend Arpad, don't you feel a little bit bad about interrupting us, interfering with Christos' past without asking for permission? I deliberately want to draw Arpad's attention away from Christos' recounting his story.
I can't reach his shoulders, but I put my hand on his back and I lead him a bit towards the door and I say, the Witcher just told me downstairs that when Christos came and told us about the curse, his medallion twitched, meaning he's actually cursed.
Be it that as it may, I've been a friend of Christos for a long time. I feel that if he wanted to share his backstory with me, he would have done so. This is dishonorable to interfere like this, both for me and you. Vinif is a witcher, a professional, and he may be able to help. But I would suggest that you and me step outside as honorable and good friends would do. And if Christos wants to share his story with us, he can do so at his own time, at his own leisure, when he feels ready.
Well, I personally know nothing about curses, so I don't have any objection.
Thank you, Arpad. This means a lot to me, and I will not hold it against you. Your intrusion, I mean. Come, I have a few ideas about how we can spend our time.
Either way, it all started. Hey, you should stay and rest. Sit on the bed, even lie on it, and wait until Matos brings hot water.
I will as politely as I can, ignore this advice and try to pull Arpad with me.
What do you think you are doing now?
I'm at a loss for words for a few seconds, and then I go, "What honor commands, my friend?" And I bow a little bit, and I open the door and backtrack, go outside.
Everybody needs to come back into this room right now. This is a serious matter.
Honor and friendship are serious matters to me.
I guess it would be in character to roll for leadership because Christos is annoyed.
I will try to ignore this with resolute. Nikolai has decided that he's feeling strongly about this. He's spending 2 points of luck on this.
You have a 24, which beats Christos' 12 by a lot.
I will not wait for Arpad. I will let him decide for himself. I was just suggesting. And I will get out of the room.
I heard what you said before, and I have to admit that that is the most childish thing I've heard. We have a serious matter on our hands, and you just get insulted by barging, and I put air quotes, into your operation. You talk about honor and friendship. Well, you asked for a witcher's help, and now you just walk away when we're trying to get to the bottom of the situation. We have 2 curses on our hands, and juggling them both is not an easy task.
You misunderstand. This is not about you intruding. This is about me intruding in my friend's life. If he wanted to share this with me, he would have done so previously. I believe you can help him, and I believe that I will assist you as best as I can, but not because you command it.
This has nothing to do with intruding anyone's life. To get to the bottom of a prolonged life process curse, you have to backtrack. You have to dig into the background of the person to see what happened. You have to understand that at least.
You do, not me.
Witcher Vin, are you concerned, or is the reason you want us to stay because the curse has possibly also affected us?
But that is the thing. I still don't know much. I still need to hear and listen to what he has to say. I was kind of led by you guys into this companionship. So by you, and I look at Nicolas, leaving your friend while we're trying to take care of his curse is the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. You know this person way more than I do. So any input you have to say about him, about his life, about any occurrences that happened in the past can help me and us do our job and perhaps figure out what this curse is, how we can get rid of it, and if it's tied into the town.
You can end your discussion with Christos and later come and find me. But the answer will be the same. Christos is an upstanding gnome and an upstanding friend and a good doctor. I bow a little bit, and this time I actually leave.
Everyone stays at the place they are now. I won't talk anything about the goddamn curse until Nicholas is properly treated.
Arpad is a bit torn between staying because he's concerned about the curse and the possible effect it could have had on him, and leaving them to discuss it in private. And then if there's a problem coming to it, yeah. He's standing in the doorway a bit confused.
As soon as Nicolas steps out backwards, bumps into Matos, who is coming with the buckets of water, and the innkeeper says, "What's all this talking and yelling about curses? Did any one of you lose his appetite as well? Like the other people of jealousy have? Did you have the fever? What's wrong with you?"
Calm down, Matos. This is a friendly debate, nothing more. We're all trying to help here. Jealousy, I mean.
Pretty certain I listened to the word curse by the doctor himself.
Wasn't this our initial suspicion that jealousy's children are cursed?
I guess so. Why are you leaving the room? I told you you should stay inside. I'll bring you the water.
My cold water is not in danger of getting any colder, is it?
It's not cold, I told you. I've boiled the water for you. I did exactly as the doctor asked. I will not charge you for this. You are my guests.
Continue with your work, dear Matos. And I put my hand on his shoulder. I try to command him while I leave a sigh.
I need Nicolas to roll for command.
I'm thinking of putting another 2 points of luck on this. No, it's a fumble.
So a 10, all in all. He has a will of 4, so 4 times 3 is 12. You do not convince him. As he's standing there says, "You know what? I should have never given you the keys to this room. Not only will Zerka whine at me all night long, now I've got to carry these buckets all over the inn, just because you cannot decide what's best for you. I will take these to the cabin, and if you want to have a bath, you can have it there." And he turns around and leaves.
After you are speaking, can I go towards them?
Can I stand in his way and prevent him from exiting the room? Telling him, until we know exactly what's the matter with you, I can't let you leave.
Nicolas, roll an awareness check on this one, please. Because you're in the middle of a situation, a DC would be 15.
Then I don't hear anything.
Are you out of your mind, dwarf? Our friend is hurt and he needs to rest. Whatever do you want to do with me, you can always do it later, but we need to take care of the night first.
Looks to me, Nicolas is doing just fine. If he decides to stay, all the better. If he doesn't, that's up to him. I cannot allow you to leave this room until we know what's going on.
I am the doctor here. None of you have graduated any medical academy. All of you seem to be not listening to professional advice. Step outside now. And I guess I roll for leadership.
If you roll persuasion, we'll stick with the first part of what you said. If you roll with leadership, we'll stick with the we got to help our friend. If you go with intimidation, the move out of my way part.
Okay, I roll for persuasion.
Persuasion is countered with resist coercion.
Oh fuck.
That's a 1. And roll another d10, please. Ooh, an 8. So your persuasion roll goes at 1. And our pod rolls an 11.
It may be that you're a medical professional, but standing behind you is a witcher, a professional in matters of curses. And in this case, I think that we should listen to what he has to say.
So as you speak, you can see Christos getting more and more angry and perplexed at what the hell is going on. Why are you not letting him trust his friend? Why is his friend is going? Whatever the hell is he doing? Why does everyone turn against him?
Can I see chairs in the room?
There's the stool where Nicolas was sitting, and there are 2 chairs close to the balcony.
I gesture towards the chair and say, Christos, take a seat. Finn, take the other seat. Let's work this out calmly. We don't want the entire village to hear us shouting about curses and bring a mob on our heads, now do we? Right, I will go with persuasion.
Oh, that's a 1. Roll another d10, please. So, It's an 11 for you, and now Christos can roll for resist coercion, to which he will receive a bonus by the Knight's Resolute, so you get a +2.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a solid 21 with a 10. Ooh, an 8. So it's a 29 versus an 11. You're absolutely adamant as to what you are willing to do. Our part suggests that you all sit down and talk about it. Vinif, are you willing to go that way?
Vinif would just walk out onto the balcony and put his hands on the railing and just breathe and just look outside and disregard the mess that just happened with the leaving and Matos and Christos and Arpad.
Each of you please roll 1d10 plus your empathy stat. Ooh! Look at that!
I rolled a 10.
Both of you rolled a 10. So both of you need to roll 1d10 once more. Each of you receive 20 points of resolve damage. Both of you have 30 points of resolve, and you're down to 10 each.
What happens if you run out of...
The other side convinces you to do as they say.
Yeah, you lose the argument.
Alright.
And we are also both exhausted right now.
You're on the same level of literally one convincing the other.
Arpad said that he is worried about the curse and that I could be dangerous and it could be infectious and so on and so on. Okay, so I look him in the eyes and respond. My friend, I have known you for a long time. I know you can be pain in the ass, but have I ever hurt you in any way? Have I hurt Nicola or any one of our companions? Even if my affliction is real, it affects me and only me.
This is definitely a persuasion roll. I would love to listen to your answer, regardless of Christos' roll, which is a 16.
I return the look in the eyes to Christos and I say, we don't know if you are harmless. For all I know, your curse has affected me, Nicholas, and anyone else we've come across. What is more, you have not told me about this ever before until just now. It's not just for my safety that I'm not letting you leave. Until we know what's going on, you pose a danger to anyone we come across. We are in a village full of innocent people here, and I cannot let you leave this room until we know what is the matter with you. And I slowly move my hand toward my belt where my axe is. I will not let you leave.
Okay, so this is a counter argument using intimidation. You've got a 14 and Christos had a 16. Christos, roll 1d6 divided by 2 plus your empathy as resolve damage to Arpad. 8! Arpad is left with 2 points of resolve.
Still holding my axe, I speak louder towards Vinif and say, we can't let him leave. It's too dangerous.
Without looking back and still looking outside at the view, I will tell Arpad, leave him to do whatever he wants. I will discuss with you my conclusions of this situation.
I look a bit taken aback, perplexed. Are you saying I should just let him leave?
Let him leave, let him stay. It doesn't much matter now when this group is utterly broken. But I'm sure I'll find a way to move forward with this. And I say under my breath, curse.
In that case, begrudgingly, Arpad will take a step to the side, away from the door.
Without saying any word, Christos dashes in the direction he saw Nicola leaving.
I think you made a mistake.
I'll be honest with you, I would have appreciated to have the entire group here present for this, but as you can see, one person is too divulged in his honor and whatnot, and the other is too busy with his surgery. I believe we needed a breather.
I sigh.
I agree with that sigh, and for now we'll just have to deal with the situation as is. But I do need more information out of him at some point, and I would like to have the knight present with us. Is there anything you think you can say to him to convince him to participate?
I can always try. But for now, I think I'm gonna go to my room and take a breather.
I never had situations like this. I think I'll go pay a visit for Zerka again.
I shake my head. I leave towards my room.
This argument has left you at least one floor behind. When you reach the ground floor, you see the back door of the inn closing.
I just assume that he went there and I go in that direction.
You exit the inn using the back door, and standing next to the inn there's a wooden cabin. You open the door and find Matos inside, pouring water onto one of the two bathtubs. Nikolai is already getting undressed and ready to enter the bathtub. As you close the door behind you, I would say that you feel quite exhausted, quite frustrated, in a sense a bit betrayed by your pad's recent behavior.
I take a sigh of relief and I assume that Nicholas is seeing me, so I come towards him to check on his teachers are still okay and so on.
You get closer to your friend, and you can see that you have done quite a good job patching him up. Matos takes some side steps and moves away from you. He has the two empty wooden buckets on his left hand, and with his right hand he's pressing against the cabin's door, looks at you and says, "Lords, I'll have to bid you good night now. I really hope I didn't cause any trouble to you or your companions. If you please excuse me, I'll be off now."
Christos hand waves and says, just forget about it, and Matos can hear that Christos is exhausted as well.
You've been very helpful today, Matos, and your kindness and help will be repaid. Thank you.
He just nods and pushes the door open, lets it close behind him, and you're left alone in the cabin.
I feel we've been more trouble to that man than help today. But tomorrow will be a new day.
You will be in trouble if you don't listen to my medical advice. Now, I think we all need a rest.
Nicolas, roll for human perception.
With a -2,
Yes.
another 1.
Ooh, this is a fumble fest today.
So it's a 4 total.
You fail to understand that Christos is utterly spent, exhausted, in a sour mood. You're quite concentrated on what you feel is your duty, focused on you getting inside this bathtub, scrubbing away the blood and the dirtiness, and getting back to your room in order to rest and heal.
I point at the bathtub as if I'm asking for permission, with a half smile.
I nod and I am too exhausted to ask vocally, but I take a soap and towel and hold them in a way that suggests that I will help Nicola clean himself.
I'm pretending that I'm monologuing. You've never asked me. Where did I get my wounds?
I have heard something about a bear. You heard marks of bear claws on your body, so I'll just assume it was a bear. Am I right?
This is not what I'm talking about. I laugh a little. You must stop taking everything at face value. You never asked me if I was right or wrong to draw my sword and fight. If my cause was just, you just patch me up. So I'll never ask what you did and what happened. I'll help you all the same. As long as you want me to help. Whenever you're ready to ask for my help. If ever. And I submerge myself totally under the water for a while.
After some time, Christos will help, but only as a gesture of protecting his young human friend, and not because he is physically able to cover him with the towel, Nicolas receives the towel with a smile, dries himself up, redresses himself, and they both get back to their respective rooms for some well-earned rest, which might be the case for the exhausted and wounded knight, but on the other hand, Phristos himself needs to revisit what has transpired today. And I guess that with this, we can call it a night.